I've had a lot of requests for longer format content showing all of the details, so this is how I make my steaks start to finish. Tonight I'm cooking everything right on the grill. We like mushrooms and onions, so I'm gonna put my cast iron pan on here to heat up as the grill comes up to temp. It almost feels wrong wearing my Griswold shirt and using a Lodge pan, but that's the size I have that fits well. Y'all know I love shopping local, so I went down to my local butcher shop, T&T Meats, for these 2 boneless ribeyes. They hand cut them for me right there on the spot, and they're perfect. They have a huge spinalis, which is this part that wraps around the top of the steak. That's the best part of the steak. So when you go looking for steaks, check for a big spinalis. If it has no spinalis at all, I would pass. The other option is called the tri-heart. It's where each of the 3 pieces of meat are all about the same size. That's another good cut. I recommend that you try several steak rubs until you find one you like. This happens to be my favorite. It's called Hardcore Carnivore Black. They're not a sponsor. It's just the steak rub that I use. And then we're gonna season the steaks liberally on all sides. Notice I'm not rubbing the steak. I'm just pressing on it to make sure that it adheres well. Then I'm gonna sprinkle some rub down in my tray, and I'm gonna use that to get the sides. It's a lot easier than trying to get that seasoning to hit the sides exactly right. When cooking steaks, I prefer the reverse sear method, where you cook it slowly at first and then hot at the end. In order to make sure we don't overshoot our temperatures, I like a leave-in internal thermometer. These are called the Meter, but there are several different brands available. This particular one is the Meter Pro. It can stand temperatures a lot hotter than their previous model, and it has worked really well for me. They sell it with a single probe, they sell it with a 2 probe called the Duo, and then they sell the one with the 4 probes. This connects to my phone or to my Wi-Fi, and it tells me the temperatures throughout the cook. I just want to insert them right into the center of both steaks. Another trick, when you're using a cutting board, sometimes they tend to slide around. If you put down a damp rag or paper towel, it holds them in place and they don't slide around. So I told you I like onions and mushrooms on my steak. I just sliced these mushrooms a couple of days ago, so now I just need to slice the onion. I picked up this station knife from Benchmade. I've been using it for the last couple of weeks as kind of an all-purpose kitchen knife, and I actually really enjoy it. So I'm gonna cut my onion right down the middle. Then I cut off the non-root side and peel the outer layers off. Once that's done, I can hold the root side while I get nice slices of the onion. When I'm eating onions with steak, I don't want them sliced super thin, and I kind of like half rings. So I'm gonna go probably 1/4 inch and cut my onion. Another tip I have for you is always set your temperature dial where your desired temp is at 12 o'clock, so you can easily see it from your house. You don't have to walk over and look at the tiny numbers. I hit 250, so I'm gonna close down my vents to maintain that temperature, and it's time to get the steaks on. I'm gonna cook the onions and mushrooms in beef tallow, so I have a jar that I got from my local barbecue restaurant. The onions are gonna take a lot longer than the mushrooms, so they're gonna go in first. I forgot an important step. I wanna cook indirect, so I'm going to remove the grill grate. I'm gonna add this heat deflector so the steaks don't cook too fast while they're coming up to temp. Now we can put both steaks on, close the lid, and monitor the temps from the Meter app. The steaks just hit 110 internal, so I'm gonna pull them off. Now I need to get the heat deflector out so that I can cook over direct flame. I'm gonna take the top vent completely off and open the bottom vent wide open because I want those temperatures to climb up to over 500 degrees. As the temps start to climb, those onions are starting to sizzle. So I'm gonna add in my mushrooms. These are getting to be the color that I like. So it's time to pull these off so I can get my steak seared. Make sure you have some good heat resistant gloves and a place to put it. Now the steak is gonna go right down on the grates, over the fire. For this part of the process, I leave the dome lid open, and every 30 seconds, I'm moving the steaks. So first I give them a 1/4 turn, 30 more seconds, I give them a flip, 30 more seconds, I give them another 1/4 turn, and then I check the temperature. We're at 116 on the center, so not quite there. I'm looking for a little over 120, so I'm gonna flip them up on the sides and sear the fat caps, and then take them off. Now we're gonna get this grill shut down so we can conserve the rest of the charcoal. Let the steaks rest for at least 5 minutes, and then it's time to get them sliced. Check the finish temp of the steaks.
Got 131 there, and 131 here also for a perfect medium rare.
You saw the finish temp was around 131, but the steaks do look more medium, and that's because of the outdoor lighting and the way the camera reacts with the colors in the meat, but I assure you, they're pinker than they look on camera. I'd say these steaks turned out pretty perfect. I'm getting my first bite right off the cutting board. You know I'm going for the spinalis. That's perfect. I'm gonna take another bite of just spinalis. My family will never know. Let's eat, y'all.